What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of SSPN Postgame. We hope you guys enjoyed the thumbnail switch up there. If you guys don't know who that is, which I'm sure a lot of you do, being Spurs fans, that's my face photoshopped onto James Silas, and Ethan's on George Gervin. That's an iconic photo. I've been watching the Ring of the Row lately, so you know. Just saw that picture. We were texting about it, and then you joked about it. You were like, "You should put our faces on it," and I was like, "Dude, I got to do it now." So
This should be the new trend moving forward. It's
I
like always
agree.
our face on some other player or something. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
it.
we'll have to go with I don't know who would be. Well, those are really the first original two. Maybe like
Yeah.
who was David's first sidekick?
Sean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll be the next one. And then we
Perfect.
can go with I see I'm only on episode 4 of Ring of the Row. On episode 5 I'm going to learn about that,
You
Ethan.
got to pick up the speed, my guy. I think
I
I'm on like
know.
13 or
Oh
something.
my gosh, I know. You're already that much ahead of me, man.
I
Dude,
had
this
some
is
free
how it
time.
works. I could go on a whole nother rabbit hole about this, but I'm super slow at watching shows. People like if I'm watching shows with somebody else, like I know, like right now, me and my mom are watching a show, and like next thing I knew, she's like 3 seasons ahead of me. But anyways, Ethan, you know who is 3 seasons ahead of the Spurs in the fourth quarter tonight?
Let me guess. The Washington Wizards?
Yes, and Corey Kispert
Yes.
specifically.
Mm-hmm.
There was some hope
Oy.
because Kristaps Porzingis didn't play the entire fourth quarter, and that was kind of the difference in that little run that the Spurs had at the end of the second quarter in this one, and then
Mm-hmm.
carried that into the third. And then what did we do, Ethan? We played Blake Wesley, Champagne, Barlow, and the gang for an extended period of time, enough for them to pull away. It's
Yeah.
like we know what we're doing.
Oh my gosh, the tank is so obvious at this point, but because this is one of the few times that you're happy the NBA and national media doesn't pay attention to the Spurs. Because if we were like the Lakers or the Knicks or something, they'd be like, they're obviously tanking. This is horrible for the league. But because we're the Spurs, nobody notices. So
It's like, yeah, this is probably the least watched game
yeah,
on League Pass tonight.
for
Like,
sure, for sure. But yeah, Corey Kispert went absolutely ham, dude. It was real. I
Mhm.
mean, the fourth quarter for sure, but it was really the whole game. Like anytime we
Yeah,
double teamed KP, it was like, why are we coming off Corey Kispert? Why are we coming off the guy whose literal job is to just shoot threes? Like,
yeah,
why not come off of anybody else? But then DeLon Wright also had 24 off the bench, like out of nowhere.
dude. You know what's crazy? Not to interrupt you, but I
No, go
had
ahead.
the Wizards broadcast, and so Drew Gooden is their he's their color analyst. It was
Oh
kind
yeah,
of funny. He like called a play that the Spurs were running because we had him for a little bit back in the day,
did
and
we
like
really? I don't
in
remember him.
2009 we had Drew Gooden. I had to look it up. Yeah,
Huh.
but he was like, Pop's calling this play right now. I bet you it's gonna be like a high screen out of the corner, and that was exactly what it was to Doug. He was like,
Perfect.
"Let me see if I know the playbook." That was a funny note, but he actually, like, before the game, he said DeLon Wright and Jordan Goodwin, the two dudes off the bench who played really well for the
Yeah.
Wizards tonight. He was like, they have this thing on their broadcast. It's for NBC Sports Washington, and I think it's called like the Star Tracker or something. And
Mm.
of course, usually they use it on Beal, Porzingis, or Kuzma, right? But with Kuzma and Beal being out tonight, he chose DeLon Wright and Jordan Goodwin, and he knew, dude, 24
Yeah.
and 17 from both of those guys. And yeah, pain. They distributed too. They both had 5 or more boards also. Like,
Yeah.
that's probably the reason right there. When Jordan Goodwin, excuse me, and DeLon Wright combined for over 50 points. Well, actually, no, they didn't. I can't do math at all. Close to 50 points. Then you're gonna have a long night.
I think it's 41 to be exact. 41
Look,
points.
I
It's
feel
very
like
close.
I've told this story on here before, so I don't want to beat a dead horse. But I passed college algebra with a straight 60 off a 2 point extra credit essay writing about different NBA stats that require weird, crazy equations to come up with, and that's the only
Wow.
reason I passed. Yeah.
Even then, you were clutch, Jude. You've been clutch your entire life.
I've been clutch, even though I was taking the L there. Oh my gosh. Well, just talking a little bit more about the Spurs game tonight, Ethan. The Spurs won in the second and third quarter. It was really the beginning and the end of the game that was the issue. Obviously, we talked about how the personnel played into the way that fourth quarter played out or a lot. But Washington won the first quarter 33-26. The Spurs won the second and third quarter 36-33. But then were once again outscored by just around that same margin, 37-26 in the fourth quarter. KBD had a really good game.
Yeah.
That's something I could take away.
Yeah, Keldon had a phenomenal game, I thought. Really a bright spot, 3 for 5 from 3, letting it fly, 10
30 and
boards, 4
10.
assists. Yeah, 30 points. Obviously, the big stat there with only 1 turnover and 0 fouls. Efficient game from him, being aggressive. In Keita Bates-Diop, like you said, 4 for 5 from three-point land. He just caught fire.
Yeah.
Malachi had a good first half, I thought, kind of going into the beginning of that third, but he only finished with 15. And he shot 6 threes, only made 1. But he looked good, especially at first, getting to the cup, facilitating and whatnot.
And just being, we've kind of talked about this. I feel like in this last stretch of the season, the thing progression-wise I've seen from Malachi that's really stood out is his finishing and creativity at the rim.
For sure. For sure. Speaking of which, your friend, you're the president of his fan club, Dominic Barlow. He only had 2 for 3, 4 points, and only had 4 rebounds and 1 assist, 2 blocks.
Right.
Not crazy stat line, but a tremendous improvement
a
from
bounce
last game.
back, a giant bounce back. He was locked into SSPN, man.
his defensive prowess was on stage tonight for sure. He played physical defense. He had 5 fouls, but it honestly felt like he could have had more. But he was able to keep his hands out of the cookie jars, keep verticality, and contest against Kristaps Porzingis, against Gafford, who was also surprisingly really good for them. He only had 9 points and 3 boards, 4 for 5, so he didn't really shoot that much either. But
similar to Dom.
Yeah, Barlow had a much better game than IQ wise, and actually knowing where to be, and then being a solid defender.
It was a really nice sign, especially with how the last couple games have looked for him. I still, I keep the same position. I think, maybe he ends up being our third string 4, but I still, when you consider all of the injuries, I feel like, you've got Sohan with the way KBD played tonight. I don't know. We'll see if you bring back KBD, then Mamu Kelishvili is definitely going to be the third string 4 if we bring him back. Like if we have to make a decision between him and Barlow, we're choosing Mamu.
For sure.
But still, the point is it was just good to see that. But I think, the main thing it has to do with Ethan is the fact that he wasn't having to go up against people who could just like completely
throw him around
physically. Yeah. Because like Daniel Gafford 6'9". Like Barlow can actually match up with that. He's 6'9", 6'10". And even though Porzingis is 7'3", like he has a much more slender frame. So like with the height disadvantage, Barlow was able to like, he wasn't like, it wasn't Giannis the way that KP was backing him down. So he was able to force some misses there too, which was nice to see. Saw some good things from Doug McDermott too. A rough game from Blake shooting wise, had a couple rough turnovers, but the one thing that's sticking close, Ethan, with him, 8 assists again tonight. And I really think that Noah Magaro-George, he put out a good tweet about this. I want to say this was Wednesday. You know exactly where I'm going with it. It's just finishing at the rim with Blake. He's able to blow past people. Like, I'm not saying everybody, but he's got that elite speed. We knew that when he drafted him. And we saw that last year. Even in the summer league, it's coming up on a year of that. And he'll probably be in the summer league again. And it won't look like the way that it looked, his 18 minutes looked tonight. So, he's just got to improve on that, because his first step, and like, it's like everything but scoring the basket whenever it comes to his drives from the rim. I want to say he missed the 3. He might have missed a mid-range jumper, but those have been far more consistent over the past like 2 weeks. It's really been just finishing at the rim. But the really promising thing is he's continued to have really distribute and facilitate in that second unit despite those struggles, which is what you want to see.
For sure. And it's only natural. He hasn't really had that many meaningful NBA minutes. He struggled to score in the G League at first. Remember, we were looking at the box scores and we were like, Blake only had 12 on really inefficient shooting. But then he ended up kind of finishing his tenure off, with a bang. He had 30, I think, in his last game, right? Or 27, something like that. So he kind of figured it out, and now the NBA is just another step. So get a full offseason under his belt, working with the assistant coaches and the
Mm-hmm.
training staff. I have no doubt that he'll come back with a little bit more sauce, finishing around the rim, and probably more consistent jumper too, because he gets
Yeah.
wide open mid range jump shots. It's just a matter of hitting them every once in a while. I think he
Right.
short arms them a lot. They hit front rim quite a bit,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but all fixable things.
Yeah, and the other key context there is like if you go watch his Notre Dame excuse me, his Notre Dame tape, that was kind of his bread and butter.
Hmm.
It became kind of in the last G League game he played where he had 30, and even before that, leading up to when he was going to start getting consistent minutes and on the main Spurs. You've seen that at all of the other levels. It just hasn't translated to the league yet. And really considering Blake's rawness and what we've seen throughout the season, I'm not really expecting it to be.
Yeah,
And when we think about guys like Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, I mean, the list goes on and on. When they were coming into more winning teams, we didn't really see that develop until the second season. So I'm
yeah,
not that still a positive outlook on that. And like I kind of mentioned earlier, like I think that his games in the summer league that we'll probably see again this season will look, he'll probably be scoring in bunches like he was last year. So
for sure. Side note, Joe Reyna, if you're still in here, Fultz for Vassell, no,
yeah.
get out of here with that. We're gonna trade a future All Star for a washed number one pick. Not washed, but
Yeah,
ceiling
I
as a
just
really
don't.
good backup point guard. No, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, I'm not. I just don't really see the. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you there. Like
LeBron for Zach Collins.
like
Okay,
that would just be like playing. Like okay, let's send Vassell for like um I don't know, DeLon Wright. Like, I don't
yeah,
want to. I know that he's a little bit under Markel Fultz right now, but like Vassell is 22. Markel Fultz, we kind of know what he is at this point. The ceiling for Vassell is still not answered yet. So, yeah, no, I'm with you on that one too, Ethan.
the most random comment I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my gosh.
Good lord.
Well, yeah, there's really not too much else to take away from this game. Oh, this is the one thing I knew I forgot. There was one other thing I wanted to talk about. Champagne
Yeah,
had
champagne.
another. He was another bright spot tonight. Um,
Yeah,
he's maybe somebody else who could find himself onto the Spurs roster next year. I feel like he'll probably be in training camp.
I wouldn't mind that. Surprisingly athletic. Past few games, he was a sharpshooter. Tonight, only 1 for 4, but able to make, timely baskets in the mid range and finishing up close. So has a little bit more than I thought he would
Right.
have.
Yeah, exactly. Had 2 blocks tonight too. I've kind of
Yeah,
seen that throughout. He's had made some good defensive plays. I feel like I mentioned that on Wednesday.
yeah.
But just a young. I want to say. Let me see if he's a rookie before I
Lie. Yeah.
Mamu Kelishvili
It's
myself.
his first season.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is his first season. Yeah, so he's a rookie. Got him off that same 2-way.
Six,
Uh,
7, long.
yep. Just a versatile. I mean, can kind of really. I mean, you don't. We're not going to play him at the 4 that much when everybody's healthy, but
Yeah.
consider like the circumstance tonight, there was a lineup where we were playing him at the 4 next to Doug. And so just to have kind of a switchable, versatile 21-year-old sniper.
He's shooting 42% from three.
Right.
Only
Right.
8 games, but 6 of those have been with us.
Yeah, and had multiple 40-point games in the G League all year. And it's kind of funny when I go look at his latest highlights. It's from last year's summer league. So
We'll see what we got. We might have
we'll
another
see.
KBD on our hands, or he's around for 4 years.
Now we're gonna team him up with Blake in Las Vegas this
There we
summer.
go. Ooh, ooh, and Dom. Ooh, big
Do you
three.
think Malachi plays?
I would like him to. I know he's kind of surpassed where Blake is right now, and he's a more of a formidable player on our roster.
Hmm.
But why not? You
Yeah.
know,
I'm not against it either. I just wonder. I feel like I'm leaning a little bit more to the Spurs will hold him out.
maybe let's see how
Yeah.
he is like fatigue wise. But
It's probably a little bit more certain that I could still see him playing. But like Sohan would probably he'll definitely not play.
yeah,
And
no,
he
he's
kind
not.
of he was injured last year, so
I'd like to see what kind of chemistry they could continue to build
right.
too. The backcourt, Blake and him.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's still young. Yeah. Jeremy's had some injuries this year, so I don't mind holding him out. But
Yeah. And I'm remembering while we're having this conversation, he's going to be playing for the Poland team
yes,
too.
so he
So,
won't even be available probably.
but the good news is he'll still be getting reps elsewhere.
Yes.
So, yeah, he was out tonight. Also, that kind of ties into the little injury thing that we were
Hmm.
talking about. Let me see what they listed him at. I know you sent it to me just so we can kind of give people a little bit of an update there, because I didn't even think about that earlier, Ethan. Whenever you were texting me it on Twitter.
Pop just said he was going to be day to day, game to game for the rest of the
Okay.
year. Because someone asked him in a press conference, "Are you going to shut him down?" He was like,
Yeah.
"No, I think we'll just kind of play with it by ear." So
That makes sense. That makes sense. On the injury report, they listed it as right knee soreness / injury management, which is literally what it is. So,
yeah,
all right. Well, is Ken Burke a Spur? Do we have to ask again?
I don't even know. I mean, he was on the bench for like the first 5 games he was here, and I haven't really seen him. Was he even there tonight? I don't
I
even
don't.
know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't see him. I know that when you said it, I think there might be one memory that I can like pull out of my head that I've seen him on the
I've
sideline.
definitely seen him, but
Yeah.
I don't think I saw
Was he
him
wearing
tonight.
all black?
Probably.
I don't know why.
I know
That's
what he
just
looks like. I
the
remember
image
him
I
being
remember.
there.
Yeah.
Good Greg. Yeah, Gregory's got it right.
Greg's got it right. They're holding Birch back from the championship run.
Mm.
Oh my gosh.
Championship
They
Ken.
don't want to, like we were texting about it earlier. They're high. He's just waiting for his chance. He's in the shadows. He's like our Batman.
Yeah, he's lurking in the shadows, waiting for his opportunity.
Oh my gosh. No, we're just trying to play as many 19-year-olds as we can right now and just give them as many minutes as possible.
I'm for it though,
I am
because they've
too.
all
And
got
we're getting
like
as many L's as possible too.
yes, getting L's, and they're like this much a game, just getting a little bit better, like in the
Yeah.
smallest like areas, but not good enough to obviously win. We went from 36-point loss to 35-point loss to 12-point loss. So next game we'll lose by 10.
And this one was really closer. Like,
Yeah, it was.
let me see. Talking about this just a little bit more. Like, let's see how many minutes did Keldon have tonight?
I think 31.
Okay, we've definitely seen Keldon play some games where he's got like closer to 40 minutes for sure.
Yes.
I've seen even some Malachi games where that has happened, and
Yes.
we definitely distributed the minutes tonight. Almost everybody on the bench got 20 minutes. Ethan,
I saw
everybody
that.
got at least 18 minutes. Champagne, Blake Wesley, and Barlow got 20 minutes tonight. That's
Yeah.
that's crazy. Like, just considering all the context, it's wild. Barlow got more minutes than Blake tonight. Like,
Probably a matchup thing.
yeah,
Poor
I'm
Mamu.
sure.
Only
Yeah,
he had 5 boards. He's 6'8", 6'9".
6'10",
He's
but
6'10", really? Okay.
yeah. I mean, but so is Barlow, so they're both
Yeah,
kind
they're
of
the same size. But
yeah. Anyways, the Mamu didn't play terrible.
no,
I
he
mean,
didn't. He
yeah,
didn't. But
he,
it's the tough matchup to
yeah,
make him guard KP and
yeah,
Gafford.
yeah.
So
I think Barlow is a little bit better matchup for Gafford specifically tonight, just
yes,
because of like play style. Because Mamu is more of like Mamu plays the three for his national team. I forget which broadcast I was listening to, but I heard that. So
yeah,
like, he's just a little bit more of like a modern four, if you will, where Barlow is like a big,
he's like Boris Diaw. Boris was a point guard,
right,
and he came
exactly.
to the NBA, and we're like, no, you're a power forward.
And that was the thing. The things that stick out in my head tonight from Mamu when I think about it is he had some really sweet passes and some silky smooth layups.
Yep, very well
Got
said.
bullied a little bit, wasn't able to be dominant because he's, like we were just explaining, and then having to play center, but it is what it is. I don't think I have any more takeaways from this one. 12 assists from Trey Jones.
Yeah, solid game.
Good job distributing. This is definitely a game where I feel like if we have like a Zach Collins or like one other person off injury, whether that's Vassell or Sohan, that this could have been a win.
For sure. I feel like that's for most of these games, to be honest with you. Or at least
Very true.
way more competitive.
Yeah. This one was more competitive throughout, and then we just
But
we
then,
we gave our entire bench at least 20
yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
Where in other games, if we were trying to win, it would have been like they would have been closer to like maybe 15 minutes max, and then we
Hmm.
would have gave everybody else in the starting lineup close to 40. Like I want to say if I were to go back and look at the Jazz game right now, I'm not going to, but if I was, I'm sure that the minutes would be a lot higher for the starters than they were tonight. Like everybody would
Yeah,
have at least 30, maybe even closer to 35.
yeah, probably. But to be fair to the Wizards, they didn't have Beal or Kuzma.
Very true.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
And Porzingis still didn't play the fourth quarter. And
yeah,
like that was really when we still the Spurs still had chances to win tonight and did not, but
yes.
it's tank season. So, well, the other thing I was thinking, Ethan, is this was one of those wins that this was one of the ones that looked winnable, especially when you saw the injury report.
Mm.
So now it's really coming down to that Jazz game, Ethan. Maybe there'll be another one where they surprise us, but
Well,
will Mike Jimenez be defeated?
Portland maybe if they shut
That's
down
true.
Dame. That's
That's true.
apparently happening. So fingers
Right.
crossed. We need
Anthony
one.
Simons is going to give us 40 instead.
Oh, Drew Eubanks revenge game.
Yes. And
Being
Shaden
guarded.
Sharp,
Yeah,
career high.
we have to hope that Zach's back because Mamu can't hold down Drew.
No, he can't. Oh, no. Mamu's going to get abused by Drew. The Barlow Eubanks matchup. Jude versus Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
The showdown of the century.
That's we
Eubanks
have to get a
versus
picture of them
Barlow.
facing each other, and like we're next to them. You know
No,
what I mean? Like it's
I'm gonna make it like a UFC like hype poster for like a
yes.
championship fight, but it's gonna be Eubanks and Barlow. And then like you and me are gonna be in their corners.
Yeah, they're coaches. Oh
Yeah.
my God. I
You're
miss
gonna
him
go,
so much.
bully him, he's little. You gotta get the steal, Dom.
The one-handed three.
He's too big. You gotta trail him.
Yeah. Barlow's he's gonna drop, and Drew's gonna just pull up from 3-point range and just drain it one-handed, smooth as silk.
Oh
Yep,
my gosh.
I might cry.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned that though, Ethan, because seeing Drew Eubanks in this last stretch of games, that is a bright spot for the Spurs right now. Like that's where we're at.
I want him to play 48 minutes just to make the game like bearable for me.
Oh my gosh, man. Alrighty. Well, any final thoughts on this one, Ethan, or on the Spurs going forward?
Get some L's, baby. Get some L's. Rack 'em in.
The L's will keep coming. Just to look at the Spurs schedule to let you guys know what's coming up. Boston on Sunday, which Ethan and I are probably going to look at the injury report for that game. We were talking about this. And if Tatum and Jaylen Brown are playing, we'll probably just go live during that game because after the New Orleans and Milwaukee games, this past middle of the week, that doubleheader for us, it's just been rough with all of these L's, and that one would probably be like similar to both of those. So we would just probably go live and talk about the Spurs there. But then after that, the Utah game is Wednesday, so the Spurs will get 2 days of rest there, and then it's the gauntlet other than Portland on Thursday, April 6th. You know what I just realized, Ethan? And I already said this live, but since you were saying that Portland game, especially if Dame gets shut down, that's the one I'm going to be at in Austin.
That's right.
So maybe I can be there, and I'm going to make a big live stream. I'm going to make a big video, and it's just going to be titled in all caps, Mike Jimenez has been defeated.
I need that because he's going to tweet as soon as the season's over.
Told
I
you.
called it. Yeah, retweet. And then
listen to me more.
Also, Sohan's garbage, and we're like,
right. That's the part that irks me. It doesn't even like the win prediction. I'm not mad at. The reason I want him to be wrong is because of the stuff he said about Sohan. But anyways, we appreciate y'all. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe below. If you want to stay updated with the show, follow us on Twitter. You can watch us there at SSPN on YT. And to stay updated with all the information when shows are coming out or seeing what our next thumbnail will be early, follow at Jude McLaren and at Ethan_Quintero. We appreciate y'all. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll catch y'all in the next one.